In this episode of the IT Provider Network, I want to share with you some of the top takeaways from the massive IT Nation conference in Orlando last week.
Welcome to the IT Provider Network. Are you a managed service entrepreneur wanting to take your business to the next level? Do you excel in IT but feel your business management could be better? Join Terry Rossi, where every episode he shares the skills, tips, and tricks that helped him to build a successful worldwide business.
Hi, and welcome to episode 23. Last week, I was at the massive IT Nation conference in Orlando, where over 3,500 attendees attended a two-day conference put on by ConnectWise. ConnectWise are the makers of the software ConnectWise Manage, Automate, Connect, and Sell, and the newly announced ConnectWise Unite. As always, it was an outstanding conference for anyone in IT. I took Brian and Alan, my Chief Revenue Officer and Service Manager, to the conference this year. We started the conference with the IT Nation Gives event, where about 30 of us spent the morning at the Primrose Center. The Primrose Center is a home for disabled adults. We divided up and worked on several projects to help improve their lives at the home. We did painting, we did yard work, we did baking cookies with the residents, and of course we delivered some technology to help everyone that lives there. Some Fire tablets, refurbished PCs, etc. It was such a great event. Heather Patak from ConnectWise does a great job putting together the IT Nation Gives event. It's our third year doing it, and it really starts to kick off the conference with the right frame of mind. So thank you, Heather, for being such a great person and doing that for the community. For me, this was my 10th IT Nation, and boy, has it changed since the first one I attended back in 2007. Back in 2007, if I remember right, the conference and the hotel were all paid for by ConnectWise. I remember when I attended the first one, and I was thinking it was one of the best conferences I ever attended. And just for the record, I attend a lot of conferences, and not just in the IT space. I attend social media conferences, digital marketing conferences, ERP conferences, podcasting conferences, all kinds of conferences. If the topic interests me, I make the investment and go learn about it. I love to learn, and that's, one of my core traits. One of the best things about the conferences was a social event where I caught up with a bunch of the IT Provider listeners at the Off the Grid party. It was really great to be able to put a face to a name and to hear that the podcast is making a difference for real people struggling to build, grow, and scale their MSP business. So all of you that I met up on the rooftop deck, thanks so much for taking the time to seek me out. It was truly my pleasure to meet you. I also want to thank everyone for the emails and questions that I get. It's so nice to wake up in the morning, look at the inbox, and see that there's a bunch of engaged listeners with the show. So the next episode, I'm going to do another Q&A show. So please make sure you call and write. Get your questions in. If you've already sent them in, I have them. I'll use them. But if you haven't, get them in by this weekend. I'm going to do my best to help you solve your challenges, work to build your company, and help you in any way I can. So anyway, back to IT Nation. IT Nation is still one of the best shows you could possibly attend. Regardless of whatever platform you run on, whatever PSA or RMM tool you use, go next year if you're in the IT community and you want to grow your business. There is just a ton of valuable content, regardless of what software you run. It totally doesn't matter. I don't typically go to any software-specific sessions, and there are a ton of them that are not related to the software. So don't let that hold you back. If you're new to ConnectWise or new to Automate, then go for the software learning, but you don't have to do that. So think about it next year. If you go, let me know. In the off chance that you don't know who ConnectWise is, let me tell you a little bit about the company. It was started by two brothers, Arnie and David Bellini. They had a small MSP firm in the Tampa area and developed this software to help run their business. Well, the software took off and it just exploded. ConnectWise has become a powerhouse in the IT and managed services arena because of their domination with the PSA software. I remember back in 2007, I was looking for a PSA system, although I had no idea what that was or why they called it that. I stumbled across ConnectWise and the whole managed services industry. It was everything I was looking for in the software, and it really opened my eyes to a whole nother industry that I knew nothing about. we could launch into that industry, replace the MRR or monthly recurring revenue that was fading from our ISP business, our internet service provider business. That was fading in 2007, 2008. So we launched the MSP side of our business, and now it's responsible for over 60% of our revenue. So really, really was a smart move then. I still think it's a smart move now. If you can get your business acumen up, if you can build and grow and scale your business, don't worry about the competition that's out there. There's plenty of competition, but most of those guys are techies, nut and bolt turners, and you'll kill them if you put a little business behind it. Anyway, back to ConnectWise. They have been killing it for years, and the software, at least the software they've developed in-house, is the secret to their success. Today, the product suite includes ConnectWise Manage, which is the original product. It's a PSA or Professional Services Automation Suite. ConnectWise Automate, which is an RMM tool. RMM stands for Remote Management and Monitoring. The ConnectWise Automate product was formerly LabTech, which was, another software that was born out of an MSP's need. Then they have ConnectWise Sell. This is a quoting tool that integrates nicely with the RMM product and the PSA product. So Sell integrates with Automate and Manage. And again, ConnectWise Sell used to be a product called Quozal. And then they have ConnectWise Control, which is screen sharing and remote control. This is really the secret sauce for their RMM tool. It makes it so simple and so fast to get into a customer's machine if you need to do that. So ConnectWise Control was formerly Screen Connect. ConnectWise bought the last three pieces of software and developed the first. So they developed the PSA, ConnectWise Manage, and they purchased ConnectWise Automate, ConnectWise Sell, and ConnectWise Control. During the keynote, they also announced a new product called ConnectWise Unite. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that further on in the podcast. So the conference was kicked off with the keynote address, and that was Arnie Bellini. He gave the keynote to the audience of, I think, over 3,500 people. That's what he said. And the main stage presentations at IT Nation are always really impressive. The stage, the AV setup, all first class. Really, really a nice event, and they do a good job of, building the energy up and making you feel like you're at a first class conference, which it is. So this year's keynote was centered around two themes, in my opinion: owning what you deliver to your customers and embedding yourself into your customers. So let me tell you a little bit about that. Arnie started off by building a grid on the screen, and he talked about those grid squares, he called them squares, as different levels of expertise within your organization. So there might be physical security, computer security, audio-visual, cloud servers, on-premise servers, desktop help desk, you name it, the different types of things that we provide. And he talked about that different customer types have different needs. So for example, a construction company might need 3 or 4 of those boxes, where a accounting firm might need 7 or 8, and they might be different boxes. He talked about the need to understand that and know that not all customers will need all squares, but they will need different squares. He also talked about the concept of owning your square. Really, really not dabbling in a technology space, but owning that technology space. So if you're going to do cloud services, owning cloud services. If you're going to do physical security, cameras, alarms, etc., owning that space. I think that's a key point. Oftentimes we spread ourselves too thin. We try to do too many things, and we really don't do any of them great. So it's important to think about owning your technology square. He also talked about overlap and opportunity. So where can you get the best overlap between the technology squares, and where is the opportunity? So it's great if you're proficient in audiovisual, but if you're not selling any of it, what good is it? So only devote your efforts to own a square in a place where you have opportunity, and try to have squares that have overlap so you can utilize your resources and take advantage of your dominance in that space. So that was the second thing he talked about. Owning your square, where's the overlap, where's the opportunity, and then what resources do you have to dominate a square? Again, you have to have resources to be able to do that. And then lastly, what are you passionate about? So if you're not passionate about cameras or alarms, probably shouldn't dominate that square. Arnie also talked about some stages of engagement with our customers. And this is what resonated most with me. He talked about embedding yourself. So he outlined some phrases or stages of engagement. He outlined them as follows: land, install, embed, manage, and renew. So I'll say that again: land, then install, then embed, then manage, and then renew. So think of that as a timeline of your engagement with the customers. And what he talked about is that most MSPs never deliver the embed stage, and therefore they really can't own their square. So if we're talking about cloud computing square, and we're talking about a particular technology, let's say Office 365, for example, almost every one of us goes out there and says, okay, we'll put you in the cloud. We'll get you live on Office 365. We convert the client over using some kind of tool set or our own in-house resources. We get the client's mailboxes completely over on Office 365. That would be the land and install stage. So we landed the deal, then we installed it, but we never really embed. And this is where I see is really true in our company. We never go to that customer that we just sold Office 365 for and tell them how to really take advantage of Skype for Business or OneNote or the Microsoft Team products, whatever the product is. We never get them to that next level where they have full engagement with the product. And that's what Arnie was calling the embed stage. I think it's really important that we start striving for that, because that's going to be the differentiator where we separate ourselves from the others in the market that are just installing. The last two stages were managed. We all do the good job of that. We sell, we install, and then we typically manage, skipping that embed stage again. So we do the manage and then renew. So if we've done a good job in 2 or 3 years, we can sell them a new piece of hardware or update their firewall, router, etc. So we'll do a pretty good job on the renew stage as well. It's that embed stage that we need to work on, I think. So once again, to think about it, it's land, install, embed, manage, and renew. Arnie also talked about the customer's needs, the services we offer, and the solutions available in the marketplace. So if you think from left to right, the customer has a need. Let's say he wants collaboration within his workplace. Then in the middle, we have some services that we offer. So it might be cloud migration to Office 365. And on the end, we have solutions. And the solutions and the customer's needs are really limited. They are what they are. The customer has a need. We can't really change that. The solutions that we can sell, we can't really change that. So there's Office 365 and Google Apps, let's say, maybe intermediate. But what we can change is the stack in the middle, the services that we offer. So we can determine what we want to do in a particular technology or with a particular customer's need. And that, again, is what's going to differentiate us in the market. So think about that. Yes, you can offer an Office 365 migration service, but maybe you want to offer something a little bit more that's going to embed yourself in the customer a little bit more. Maybe couple that with ongoing training, or couple that with pre-recorded videos, or couple that with other software that helps the client in their particular industry. So think about that. You can only really control the services that you offer, actually the products or services that you offer. When I think about that, it reminds me of an analogy I heard in a Reframe Your Clients pre-conference workshop. The pre-conference workshop was on technical account management. And if you're not familiar with Reframe Your Clients, I suggest you check them out. You can find them at reframeyourclients.com. I stumbled across them. Well, I really didn't stumble across them because Danish, the founder of Reframe Your Clients, is really a killer marketeer. I stumbled across them a few years ago when Danish was tweeting about a concept he called MSP 2.0. And his approach to the kind of the MSP business and what we're offering at the time, to me, was so refreshing. Danish and his team created a methodology. They called it back then MSP 2.0. And now they have some incredible tools to help us deliver what we're selling. So back to the analogy. Miles Olsen, who's Danish's right-hand man, talked about the definition of a car. He said every car has 4 tires, seats, a steering wheel, and an engine. But there's a huge difference between a Ford Fusion and a Porsche 911, for example. it really resonated with me because what he said was, do your customers really know what they're buying? Do they think they're buying a Porsche 911, and then are you delivering a Ford Fusion? And I started thinking about it, and I said, for that matter, does your service team know what you're delivering based on what your salesperson or what you sold the customer? So it's really important to productize our offerings, make sure we have boundaries around everything, and make sure your teams really know what they're selling and your teams really know what they're delivering. I think about it like this. We're in the expectation business, and sometimes we create hype that doesn't really match the expectation. And when we do that, all we're doing is disappointing our customers. So I think that's really important. Match what you're selling to what you're delivering. Sometimes there can be a disconnect there. Sometimes you're selling a Porsche and you're delivering a Ford Fusion. Think about that on your next engagement. I think that's really a key point. So there were also some cool features on the ConnectWise products that were announced at the show. I have to be kind of careful when I talk about this. I am under non-disclosure for some of the ConnectWise products for Manage and PIN, but I'm pretty sure all this was talked about in the keynote address. So the first one was the Automate product, which is the RMM tool, is now available, will now be available within the Manage system. So it's going to be another tab within Manage. The first screen they're going to convert is what's called the computer screen. It's the kind of the main landing page for each computer you manage. So that's pretty cool. Automate's going to move to the web. It's going to be browser-based. And the first screen that's going to be available will be the Manage screen, and it'll integrate into ConnectWise. Will be the Manage computer screen, and it will integrate into ConnectWise Manage. The second feature they announced was kind of a FaceTime-like support feature in the Manage product. So if a customer has a problem and they've opened up a ticket, you can give them a link and real quick be connected to their cell phone. And you can use their cell phone camera to show you stuff in their environment and or to scan a barcode that might be on a piece of equipment. The barcode features is kind of cool. If they scan the barcode, then it pulls the configuration record right into the ticket automatically. This is one of the problems that I think a lot of ConnectWise partners struggle with. The techs aren't really doing a good job of matching up the ticket with the configuration record. Right now, it's a manual process. So if you had some kind of barcode and some way to scan it, then automatically it'd be put in there. Not really sure how useful this feature will be, especially not without a barcode, but it's there. We do find sometimes that we FaceTime with clients in our own business. So I could see once in a while using it. I don't know if they're going to charge for that feature, but I don't think it'd necessarily be a feature that I would pay for. But anyway, pretty cool. The third thing was a network diagram. And this network diagram looks kind of like the demo screen or the main screen of Auvik, if you've ever seen the Auvik software. It's based on the Automate products probe. So the probe and Automate will create this network diagram. I don't think they're trying to compete with Auvik. Just give kind of a base level network diagram that will help you determine whether or not a computer is down or switch is down. Kind of base level stuff, but it's good looking. So the fourth thing is ConnectWise Unite. And ConnectWise Unite is a new billing platform and management platform that was developed based on a partnership between Cisco and ConnectWise. Unite is a way to manage Cisco and Amazon. So, for example, you can manage all your Meraki stack, your Umbrella stack, your Stealth Watch stack if you do that, and also the collaboration tool from Cisco called Spark. If you want to try it, you can try it out at connectwise.com/tryunite. There's a free beta there. Really will help for billing, although for me, I'm not really sure about this product. For me, the Cisco part of the keynote seemed a little bit much. I, for one, have no interest in selling any more Cisco than I'm selling now. I do sell some of it. I sell Meraki, and I deliver Umbrella, which is the old Open DNS product, as part of my service. And once in a while, even as an a la carte item if a large client wants it. But for the rest of the Cisco products, I'm not really interested. So I'm not really sure that the Unite product is going to offer anything for me. I sat in the audience and I got to tell you, I wondered how much this Cisco partnership, and I say that with air quotes, had to do with the recent Autotask and Datto merger. I think that announcement being made right before IT Nation probably rattled some cages at ConnectWise. So I really don't know how much traction that Cisco ConnectWise partnership will get. I could be totally wrong. Maybe Cisco buy ConnectWise. But it seemed to me like a knee-jerk reaction to the Autotask Datto merger. So before I forget, there were some other little tidbits that I gathered from the sessions at IT Nation. This is in no real order, but I really resonated with these comments. The first one was a question. So the question was, what's the number one reason business-to-business buyers buy from who they buy from? So I'll tell you that again. What's the number one reason B2B buyers buy from who they buy from? So how do they make the decision? And the answer is consensus among the decision makers team. So let me say that again. So the number one reason that B2B buyers buy from who they buy from is consensus among the buyer's decision-making team. So interesting concept. We used to talk about the decision maker and the buyer at our customer. Well, the thought process is that you're no longer selling to one person. One person is no longer putting themselves out there on a limb. You're selling to a group of people within the company. And the fact that you're selling to a group of people in the company means that the person you're talking to, the so-called decision maker, is really like your inside salesperson at that client. So you need to arm that person with everything they need to sell the rest of their team that you may or may not have access to on your products and services. So think of them as your number one salesperson. The guy you're talking to, your point of contact in the customer, think of them as your number one salesperson, because they really are. Because the number one reason buyers buy from who they buy from is a consensus or no friction among the decision makers team. This is how sometimes I think we get booted out too. One of the decision makers team says, you know what, we're paying a lot for that service or product. I have a cousin that can do it, or I know a guy that knows a guy. So I think it's important we remember that. And it's important we arm our point of contact as well as trying to make inroads into the rest of those decision makers on the team. The second point was that different team members have different buying objectives. They have different buying objectives, they have different priorities, and they have different criteria or reasons for buying what they buy. And you need to cater to them. You need to deal with their fears and their buying habits. So there was a really good matrix that Mark Smith delivered about these buying objectives and patterns. And it talked about the different criterias that people have for buying. So for example, a CFO is motivated entirely different than a CEO. So CFO is kind of wants to mitigate risk. He wants to prove ROI. He wants things to be stable. A CEO wants to move the company forward. So he wants to take a little bit more of a risk. His objectives are growth and different from the CFO. So it's important to understand that. I'm really not doing a great job of explaining this, but I would encourage you to check out Mark Smith's new book. Mark goes by Mark S.A. Smith. And his new book, I believe, is called From MSP to BSP. And it was actually just released yesterday, the day before. Pretty sure you can get it free. I'll try to find a link to it and put it in the show notes for you. Some really good concepts in this book. I actually went to a double session with Mark S.A. Smith. I guess if your name is Mark Smith, you need to differentiate yourself. But his session was a double session, and it was on basically changing the way we sell and changing the way we engage with customers, because we're moving into a generation now. We're moving into a time period where the next generation of buyers is not going to be the baby boomers like us. It's going to be the millennials. And they have a totally different view on how to buy. Matter of fact, they don't buy. They don't want to own. They want to rent. So they want a subscription-based service, which should bode well for us. But we need to really change up the way we're selling. It's going to change in the next, 5 to 10 years. So that's it for episode 23 of the IT Provider Network. This weekend, as I said, I'm going to do a Q&A episode. So please send in your questions to Terry at theitprovidernetwork.com. So please send in your questions to Terry at itprovidernetwork.com or give me a call. You can call 1-609-451-8104. That phone number again is 1-609-451-8104. I'd love to get some questions via voicemail because, well, this is a podcast and audio is really good. So if you're comfortable leaving a message, make sure you include your name and company name. I'll give you a shout out on the show, or you'll give yourself a shout out on the show, I guess. So please spread the word about the podcast. We just crossed over 10,000 downloads, and I can't thank you enough for listening and sending in your feedback. I'm truly grateful for all of you, and I hope that you find value in this show. If you can figure it out, please give me a review on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you consume your podcasts. I'll put a link in the show notes. I'll put a link in the show notes for that. And one other thing, I want to thank Roy Taylor and Alan Lawson for signing up for Coinbase this week. Bitcoin and some of the cyber currencies had quite a bit of a roller coaster week, but it's trading at about $7,500 right now. And, it rebounded nicely. So if you're even remotely interested in cryptocurrency, and I do think it's a revolution, then open an account with Coinbase. They're really easy to deal with. They're like a TD Ameritrade of the cyber currency world. You can start with just $100, no big deal. But if you do it, they'll give you an extra $10 in Bitcoin, and they'll give me $10 in Bitcoin. So I'd love to have you sign up. It's not going to make either of us rich, the $10, but it's something, and it lets me know you're listening, and I appreciate the effort. The sign-up link is in the show notes at the itprovidernetwork.com/ITNation2017, or you can go to startbuyingcoins.com, and that's my affiliate link for Coinbase, startbuyingcoins.com. One other thing, if you're looking for professional liability insurance, maybe some better buying power at the distributors, free marketing assistance, and much, much more, check out this special deal for new ASCII members. If you sign up for ASCII before December 15th, they'll give you 2 months free. If you do sign up, make sure you let them know and list the IT Provider Network podcast as a referral company. I'll get $200. Help me out a little bit for Christmas presents. So if you're interested in the ASCII group, contact Trevor at ASCIIgroup.com. He'll help you out. And for more information about ASCII, check out episode 15 of the IT Provider Network. You can find that at itprovidernetwork.com/15. I've been an ASCII member for over 6 years. I love the close-knit group that's there. The people are awesome. They're old school IT people that have continued on, built a really nice group of VARs, system integrators, now mostly MSPs. So check them out if you're remotely interested in that. So I broke the cardinal rule. I gave you multiple calls to action. I'm sorry about that, but here they are again. Send in your questions to Terry at itprovidernetwork.com. Give the podcast a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Think about investing a couple bucks in cryptocurrency. If you do, sign up for Coinbase from the affiliate link. Take advantage of the ASCII end-of-year offer and get 2 months free. Check out Reframe Your Clients at reframeyourclients.com. Can't recommend those guys enough. Oh, and remember, we are IT. Go out there, get it, and own your square. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you for joining us, and we hope you've been inspired. Check us out on social media via @ITProviderNet and visit us at www.itprovidernetwork.com for past episodes, show notes, videos, and more. And we hope you'll join Terry next time on the IT Provider Network.